Hey friends, it's Lauren. Thanks for joining me in my craft room today. I'm grateful to have you here for a Halloween video. It's the last day of the month, so it's time for some spooky fun. And this month I'm going to be using the Rabbit Hole Designs. I have two stamp sets from them, MEOWGICAL, like magical, but MEOWGICAL, and Spooky Sightings. Now there is a die set for the MEOWGICAL stamp set, but there is not one for the Spooky Sightings. So I didn't purchase the dies when I bought these stamp sets. I just bought the stamps, but just so you know, if you love the kitty cats, you can also get a die set. I'm going to start with ink blending my background. So I'm going to get out some of my waffle flower tools. I've been really loving the grip mat, as you probably know. I use it a lot. And I also have the stencil mat, like the mini stencil mat. It's a little bit smaller than my grip mat, but it's fine. It works still really well together. And then I also bought the Distress Square like ink pad holder, and it sticks so perfectly to my glass mat. I'm just really loving that I can do ink blending so much easier without having to worry about my ink pads flying everywhere and my stencil flying everywhere or my background paper. Now I need to really clean my grip mat, so I still have to hold on to my paper sometimes. I just need to give it a good clean. I usually rinse it off, but I need to give it a good scrub to make sure I have all the ink and stencil paste off of it and to make it like sticky again. For my background, I'm actually not stenciling. I'm just doing ink blending today. And I'm going to create a night sky and some like a deeper olive toned grass. So on the bottom, I started with peeled paint, Distress Oxide, and then I added some shadow with forest moss. And then for my night sky, I brought in chipped sapphire for the blue and a little bit of Villainous potion for, just kind of darkening up the top of my sky. After I'm done with the ink, I'm going to go ahead and set my tools aside and I will wash off my grip mat a little later. And that's why it's always so not sticky, is because I wait too long to clean it sometimes. For the stars, I'm grabbing my Bleedproof white fine art paint with a small paintbrush, and I'm adding a little bit of water, and I'm just using that to splatter on this white paint to create a starry sky. I saw this paint on Carrie Rhodes' channel, and I immediately bought it, and I've been really liking it for making kind of like starry sky backgrounds because it's a really nice white paint and it doesn't just like, I don't want to say dissolve, but fade into the color of my inky background. Now it's time to move into coloring. So I stamped all of my images with an alcohol marker friendly black ink onto some alcohol marker friendly white cardstock. And I'm using my Ohuhu art markers. I do prefer the Honolulu B style markers, but I do have some Honolulu A for a few of the colors that you could only get for a while in the A style. So B is a brush and a nib, and A is a brush and a chisel. I'm just going to show a little bit of my coloring. My go-to two color combination for orange has been Y10 and Y4. So I'm going to show you how I colored in my little pumpkin house, but I also use orange, I think a couple other places. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But I'm only going to show you using the color combinations once just so you could see a little bit of how I color and the colors and how I blend them together. For all of the brown on my card, I'm using these more kind of olivey tone browns. The darker color is E460, and I'm adding it to where there are any shadows on my little pumpkin house, so around the door and the windows. And then I'll bring in the lighter color, which is E450. And I also use this brown on other parts of the little pumpkin house and the lantern of my little cat, as well as its magic wand. After the browns, I'm going to do green, and I wanted again to kind of match the olive tone green from my background. So for the darker shade, I'm using G300, and the lighter shade, I'm bringing in GY8 and just really blending those out. I'm doing the green on my door, and I'm going to do all of the leaves all over my images with that green as well. Now for the purple, I still kind of struggle with finding good bluishy purple color combinations. I like this color combo that I did. It starts with P5 and then I bring in R13, I believe. I'll know it when we see it here shortly. But I liked the way these two went together. It's a very blue purple, like blue violet. I don't know if I would use this again, but I still think it's a pretty color combination. It's just not as purple as I wanted it. It needed a little bit more pink. But most of the purple combinations that I do are still, oh, it was R17, sorry, R17. Um, Most of the purple combinations that I color tend to be a lot more pinky, redishy purple. So I'm still trying to find that right color combination for a blue purple. If you use Ohuhu markers and you have a go-to color combo, let me know. Again, I like these two together, but I'm still working on trying to figure out what's the best combination for a nice bluey purple color, if that makes sense. But I'm going to color in the rest of my hat with this color combination, as well as the like liquid in my little magical bottle that my cat is holding. And I believe I also bring it in again for my cat wearing its little magic hat. Now for the red, I wanted more of a darker jewel tone color, so I'm using R290 as the darker shade and R284 as the lighter, and I colored in all my mushrooms with this color combination, as well as all the flowers on my little pumpkin house hat. For the grays of my mushrooms, I'm going to use yellow gray. I love this a lot for mushroom colors. I do, I think, all my mushrooms with this color combo. And the darker color is YGO6, no, yeah, 60 or 80. I think it's 80. And then YG040. They're the only yellow grays that I have. So they, I think, just work really well for that kind of off-white gray color. For the yellows, bringing in Y2 and Y070, that's kind of my favorite combination right now for yellow. I did the moon, I did the windows on my little house, the moon on my potion bottle, and the lantern. For my potion bottle, I'm using RV130 and my colorless blender to color that in. I just wanted it to have a glass look, but also be kind of purpley to match the potion inside. For my cats, I wasn't sure what I wanted to color them. I was thinking of making one of them gray, as in like a black cat, and the other one orange, but I decided to go with both black cats. I mean, it's so great that you could just color these however you like, but I wanted to go with dark gray black cats. So they're both going to be colored the same, and I'm using my like green gray. I think these are what these are, the GGs. So my darkest tone is GG9, and then my lighter tone I brought in GG110, and just really working that blend together. I could have brought in one more color, but I was pretty happy with just those two together. I just wanted my cat to look black. And then for the pink details on my cat's, like its nose and inside its ears, I used R282. And like I said, I don't have dies for these stamp sets, so I went ahead and used my scan and cut. Now there are a couple areas like the mushrooms and my clouds where the images don't touch, so I just use a pencil to make my images touch, so my scanning would pick it up as one image and cut them out and not have to worry about, you know, cutting into my images, and then I just use an eraser to take that off. I also have a couple spaces on my cat images where I wanted it to cut out, but due to the way it's drawn and using my scan and cut, it doesn't cut out certain areas. So to do that, I just take a hole punch and I punch a couple holes in the area that I want to cut, and then I grab my little tiny Spellbinder scissors that I love for fussy cutting. They're the best. And I just cut out the area that I want from the hole punch. So now I have all my images and my background. I'm going to die cut my background with this really pretty detailed, like stitch detailed A2 die set. It's from Miss Ink Stamps and it's the Punny Farm frame die. It just has a really nice stitch border and it's A2 in size, so it will fit perfectly on an A2 card. I kind of am messing around with the layout, trying to figure out how I want all my images to look. I'm pretty happy with this layout here, but I will switch my cats around. I meant to put them on this way, but I guess I forgot when I started gluing, and that's okay. I still need to stamp my sentiment on, so I'm going to just adhere my images that are going to be glued directly to my background with my liquid adhesive. So that's my moon and my clouds, as well as my pumpkin house and my mushrooms. So I'll go ahead and just glue those down. Again, using liquid adhesive, so it gives me a couple extra seconds to make sure they are glued in place before, like in the right spot before the glue is like adhered. Here is how I moved my cats around, but like I said, I really wish I would have went with the other way so I didn't cover up my cat so much on in the background, like his cute little tail and everything, but that's okay. I'm going to bring out my little mini Misty and I'm going to stamp my sentiment in the lower right hand corner. It was a little lower than I was picturing in my head, but you know, so if you recreate this card, just bring up your sentiment up just a little. I think it looks a little too low, but I stamped right on my background and it is what it is and it's fine. I used VersaFine and Onyx Black and I did the I purred a spell on you. I just think that's so cute. My daughter is currently obsessed with cats. She's reading the Warrior Cat book series and there's like a billion books. So she loves this stamp set, so I had to get it. So I'm sure this card will disappear from my stash once she sees that it's done. For my two cat images, I'm going to use foam adhesive to add them to my background. So I'm going to use my 1/8 of an inch strips from scrapbook.com when I need to curve like along the tails. And then I just used foam squares or cut up pieces of my strips to fill in the rest of my cat. I did my cat that will be in the background first and then did the cat in the foreground, so that way I didn't add any foam adhesive to where they overlap. That will finish off the design of the card. So let's get this onto a card base. Again, this is A2 in size. I have a side folding card base and I am going to just turn it so it's in the horizontal and I have a landscape card. I'm going to use my super sturdy Scotch tape to adhere this background to my card base. I line up my card front to the fold of the card, so just in case I didn't do a very good job at getting it on straight or my card wasn't cut correctly, I can just use large scissors to trim the card base. So now for final touches, I'm going to be using some really pretty rhinestones from this Calls for Confetti. These are the Eclipse Sparkle Gems. They have like a purple and orange kind of look to them depending on how the light hits it and how you're looking at it. I am adding them around my sky and then using my jewel pickup stick and some clear glue from scrapbook.com to add those little rhinestones to my sky for some extra shine. So it looks like little stars in the sky. Here is a close-up look at how my card turned out. I hope you had fun creating with me some Halloween inspiration. Again, these are stamps from the Rabbit Hole Designs, and they are so cute. I love them. I hope my daughter likes this card, as I'm sure she will, and it will disappear. But I hope you also enjoyed today's Halloween inspiration. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!